For more analysis on this, I'm joined by Oytun Orhan in Ankara. He is a coordinator at the Centre for Middle Eastern Strategic Studies. Thank you so much for being with us on TRT World. Firstly, bring us up to speed with the latest situation in Manbij. The opposition groups have been making significant gains, but as we heard earlier, the Foreign Minister was voicing some concerns about the terror groups in that area and their ongoing presence. Do you believe that those concerns are still valid?
Yes, of course. Manbij was on the agenda of Turkey to clear from YPG since years, and there were some agreements between Turkey and Russia, and also between Turkey and US to eliminate YPG in this region. But these demands, the Turkish concerns, were not addressed by its partners in Syria. So now with the ongoing conflicts in Syria, that had created a kind of opportunity for all sides to move forward. So in that regard, the YPG also tried to advance from Manbij to Tel Rifat. Depending on that, the SNA forces, Turkish-backed forces, also started another operation to cut the YPG advance towards Tel Rifat. And first of all, the Tel Rifat area was cleared off from YPG, and now it is about to be cleared off from Manbij, which is a very critical area, by the way. Manbij has importance from several aspects. First of all, there are hundreds of thousands of Syrians living in north of Syria and also in Turkey. So that if it's going to be cleared from YPG, then these people can safely return to their homeland, which could also lower the burden over Turkey's shoulder, depending on the Syrians. But also, by controlling Manbij, the SNA forces could also control bigger resources. It also lies close to Euphrates River, so there are also dams, electric power, so that you can control more resources by controlling Manbij. It gives a kind of depth to the SNA controlled areas, which makes it more defendable. So military-wise is also a very critical settlement. But also what makes it important for SNA to take over, the YPG presence in the west of Euphrates is going to end with the end of this operation. So then the Turkish side and also SNA forces will focus on the east side of Euphrates River. Although YPG is at some setbacks on the west of Euphrates River, they are also making use of the current situation. So they try also to push forward from Deir ez-Zor area and also to desert areas. So it is still a challenge for Turkey, but it is a very critical step in Turkish fight against YPG in Syria.
And Oytun, tell us about what impact this has on, you mentioned the states, and obviously we have another president coming into office on the 20th of January. What will Donald Trump's presidency, what influence will that have on the situation there?
Actually, the Trump's vision, approach towards Syria, as all we know, is withdrawal of U.S. forces from Syria. So in that regard, Turkey could also make use of this new U.S. policy if it is going to be applied, because the U.S. is the main protector of the YPG forces. So depending on this protection, they established their military presence and also these civilian setups there. So the Trump is also more realistic that YPG cannot serve the U.S. interests, U.S. regional interests, so that there are more opportunities when Trump comes to power. And also the current situation in Syria will also allow Trump, US, to withdraw, as their main priority was Iran, to eliminate Iranian influence in Syria, which is not the case anymore. So as long as the Iranians' influence is eliminated from Syria, I think this will give more suitable environment for the US forces to withdraw. And also, if this withdrawal happens, they will need to depend on a regional ally, which is going to be Turkey. So in that regard, rather than eliminating this area, maybe separating PKK from YPG elements and also eliminating the PKK, core PKK elements from this area could be a base for cooperation for the two sides.
And currently it's not looking good for the terror groups, but they are clinging on as we speak. What is Turkey's biggest concern if YPG and PKK continue to have a foothold in that area?
It's going to be a strategic threat. First of all, it's a security threat, of course, the border security. So the YPG elements, they are mainly core PKK elements who are fighting against Turkey. So it's a security threat, but the strategic threat perception relies on the civilian setups made by YPG there. So the education system, or kind of, a de facto state. So this is creating a, strategic, long-term strategic threat perception in Turkey. But I think the main problem is not an entity, political entity, which is going to be established or not. We still don't know. But the problem is the role of PKK within this entity. So as Hakan Fidan said today, Turkey has no problem with the Syrian Kurds, and Turkey is already engaging with non-PYD Kurdish entities there and has very good relations with them. And also, these Syrian Kurdish parties are also part of the Syrian coalition and opposition forces, which is Turkey is supporting and highly engaged. So in that regard, the problem is always the PKK and the YPG. PKK's domination over the entities there. And also, PKK is applying pressure over the Syria Kurds and also other non-PYD political entities. So that's going to be the problem. And so the base to work together for the locals and also for regional parties is to eliminate PKK, but creating a better and suitable environment for other entities, including Syrian Kurdish parties, to operate in those areas.
That's all we have time for. Oytun Orhan, an Ankara coordinator at the Centre for Middle Eastern Strategic Studies. Thank you so much for your time.